I knew who the previous owner was.
Yeah.
The previous owner had filed bankruptcy on this thing 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Somebody related to them lived in it up until last year, and it's just been sitting empty for over a year. And they just had the foreclosure sale.
Wow.
You know, it's crazy. Like, things are just, they sit around too long.
Right, and you can't have houses sitting around. They start falling apart without someone there to maintain them, and they're losing value, and it takes more value to get them put back up and not back out on the market.
People don't understand what banks do, because they have a separate set of books for the accounting for all their foreclosures, because during the last recession they kept a complete different set of books to deal with it, because it was so bad and the foreclosures got so bad that I personally know someone who was foreclosed on, lost their house, they moved into an apartment, lived in that apartment for almost a year, and the bank contacted them, skip traced them, found out where they were, and asked them if they would just move back into the house and just start making payments, and they would take their whole balance that they owed back to the bank and start new.
Wow.
The problem was the bank, when they took the house back in foreclosure, never serviced it.
Right.
Never did anything to the house, never winterized the house. All the plumbing was burst, the basement had flooded. This place was a freaking disaster. And the people were like, you keep it.
Right, exactly. You made it a problem. So is that something that banks might normalize? Basically, if somebody goes through hardship for a while, just put it to the back of the loan, and that's going to keep them getting paid. Not when they want to be, but...
Well, I don't know.
Because like you said, these houses are going to go to shit if you just kick them up out of there.
I mean, hopefully they'll recast loans, but then how do we recast a loan if you're supposed to be at an 80% LTV, right? You borrow money on a house, you're only supposed to borrow 80 to 90%, assuming a conventional loan, not an FHA loan or a VA loan.
Yeah.
But if you have a conventional loan where you have an 80% LTV, and now all of a sudden you haven't made payments, you've owned the house for less than 10 years, and by the way, it's less than 10 years. If you own the house for less than 10 years, you still owe the original balance. You haven't paid down any principal at all.
Right.
You don't start paying down principal. If you have a 30-year mortgage, and God forbid if you have a 40-year mortgage, but if you have a 30-year mortgage, and you've only paid on that house 10 years, your principal balance is like $100 less.
Wow.
It's crazy how it works. So if you are now you basically owe what it's worth. Is the bank going to recast that loan? And how does that look on the financial books if the banks are lending money at 100% on a conventional loan? I don't know if they can do that.
Right.
You got to have some skin in the game. Now, how do you put skin in the game? If you've lost your job and if you can't make your house payment, how are you going to come up with 20% of your equity? And this happens on commercial stuff all the time. Commercial loans don't have collections. On a commercial loan, if you don't make your payment, you're in default. You go to special servicing. That's it.
Yeah.
And if you don't make your special servicing payment, they can call the note right then. And I've seen notes called, they can call the note if you don't maintain your LTV. So if you have your property, if your property is worth $1 million, you have an $800,000 note on it, and now all of a sudden the property value has dropped to $800,000, you better be able to come up with $160,000 real quick to make that 80% LTV, or they'll call the note. And they did it last time. They did to a lot of people last time. So there's so many parts of this. That's why I said you can look at any one data point and make it whatever you want. But if all you're looking at is one data point at one moment in time, you can't make a good forecast of what's going to happen.
Yeah.
I would say anybody that's involved in real estate, know your value. Become your neighborhood, your area expert.
Yeah.
Be that person. Get relationships with your local bankers. If the REOs are going to be a thing, go to them and say, hey, I'm an REO specialist. I want a you be that person. Be the go-to person for the banks. Make friends with attorneys. Attorneys are involved in all this stuff.
True.
You want to make friends with it, network with everybody you can to become the person for an area. Now, in this market, you can't say, I am the best real estate agent in Greater Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky, and I can take it all. First of all, quit being so damn greedy. There's enough business for a bunch of people. Pick an area. If you are a Boone County expert, or if you are an expert in Florence, or Fort Mitchell, or Covington, or Wilder, or Alexandria, whatever it is, there will be enough business in one area that you'll be able to kick some ass. And when I say know your market, I mean like whoever runs the corner store, know them. Whoever runs whatever small businesses around there, know them.
Right.
Eat at all the restaurants around your area so you know what's good, what's bad. You need to know all that stuff. Be the go-to person, and you'll make it through this. Be the person they can rely on. When your phone rings, answer it. I don't care where you are or what you're doing. Answer it. I don't care what time it is. Answer the phone.
When it comes down to it, whoever's the best at their job, they're going to be the ones that stay, cream of the crop.
Yeah, and a lot of people have made money being lazy the last several years.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of gloating on Facebook and different awards going around and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, yeah, it's easy to sell houses when they're flying off the market like that. Like you're not doing much, you're just listing it. Mm-hmm. Now, when things are tough, let's see how you do then. Let's see what efforts you're going to put forward, what marketing efforts you're going to put forward. Are you going to pick up that phone every time it rings for your customer? Or are you going to do all that dirty work to be the guy? And
part of being the dirty work is don't be too proud to take a $10,000 listing. There's going to be houses in the inner city that sell for $10,000, $15,000, $20,000.
Yeah.
Sell it. There's a buyer.
Right.
Would you rather make $1,000 or nothing?
Exactly.
Somebody told me that a long time ago. Would you rather make a couple $100 or would you rather make no money at all?
Right.
Because I can tell you, in a recession, last time the recession hit, when the day Lehman Brothers went out of business, I think it was September of 2008, when things really started into the 2009 recession. I had $9 million under contract. It was about $270,000 in fees to me.
Yeah.
And none of it closed.
Ooh. That hurts.
One of them, I was actually 2 weeks after Lehman Brothers closed, I was at a closing table. The HUD statement had just been passed out for everyone to review and sign. Paralegal opens the door and says, anybody say anything yet? No. She goes, don't. Bank just went out of business. We're not going to fund.
Wow.
Whatever you think couldn't happen, might.
Right.
But there was no way you could have planned on all these banks just dropping out. Am I saying banks are going to go out of business? Nope. I'm saying you don't know what the thing is.
Right.
Something's going to happen that you cannot predict. Yeah. So be ready, be as prepared as you can. Be willing to, if you should be all over social media, walking neighborhoods, going to every networking event you can. Be that person. I can tell you the best team leads I know in residential real estate, which I'm not a guru of anything residential, but the best ones I know, I see them everywhere.
Right, yeah.
See them all over the place. Whether it's social media, in person, concerts, shit, I see them all over the place.
Yeah.
They're out.
Yeah, they're not hiding.
Yeah, you're not going to make, in a recession, you don't make money sitting at home.
Right. That's good business practice, period.
It is, but you got to kind of be ready to double down on everything during a recession.
Yeah.
If you don't know what equity marketing is, reach out to me. We're going to start an equity marketing group here first quarter as well. I'll actually I have to do like an educational seminar the first week of February, I think it is, for the National Council of Exchangers for people here.
Yeah.
So get involved in that if you're a real estate agent or broker. Learn to be creative.
Right.
Because that's how you make money in a down market. When money and loans are no longer the first option for people to make a deal, you better know how to be creative.
Right. That was some interesting stuff, some enlightening stuff there. You scared me now.
Well, see, everybody gets scared, and I'm excited. I don't know. Maybe it's just everything's about perspective. We'll be back in restaurants